As it continues on the road to recovery, the state has earmarked over $21 billion for local government and rural development support in the 2022-2023 financial year. That money is for support to the poor, homeless and elderly, improved fire and waste management services, disaster mitigation and management, and getting water and electricity to more rural communities, among other critical interventions. As a small island state, Jamaica is vulnerable to natural disasters that could significantly derail the country's national development. So, in the new fiscal year, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development's single largest expenditure is $8 billion for disaster preparedness, mitigation and response. The biggest portion of that, $7.63 billion, is for fire and rescue services. This includes $44.85 million for repairs and maintenance of select fire stations, $248.5 million to procure critical firefighting equipment, $56 million for repairs and maintenance of fire vehicles, and $14 million to repair and maintain fire hydrants. The main agency with oversight of disaster mitigation is ODPEM, and the entity is getting an operational budget of $434.8 million to carry out its duties.
The government is prepared to take the actions that are deemed necessary to protect and to save lives.
So, an additional $300 million is allocated under the capital budget to continue a project for developing a national emergency communication system to coordinate incident response among the various critical agencies of government and volunteers. Among this year's targets are the construction of a maintenance center at ODPEM and installation of telecommunications equipment. 5 new repeater huts will be constructed at Sligoville, Cabbage Hill, Winchester, Mount Airy, and Shotover. These are essentially base stations that extend the range of radios for communication between different disaster coordination sites. Siren towers or masts will also be constructed in 15 locations across 3 communities, Port Maria, Bogwalk, and Old Harbour Bay, and solar racks will be constructed at Portland Cottage in Clarendon. Another area of priority is solid waste management. As part of an overall budget of $3.24 billion, $1.76 billion is to ensure public cleansing and garbage disposal island-wide. The National Solid Waste Management Authority has also been allocated $1.85 billion for a capital development project to purchase 50 compactor trucks. A central plank of the local government ministry's mandate is to provide social support to the poor and vulnerable.
Overall, we continue to provide the service, not just for those who live within the infirmaries, but for our registered poor and for those persons who continue to reside on the streets across the country.
As part of a $2 billion allocation, the Board of Supervision is receiving operational support to the tune of $1.05 billion. This will fund outdoor poor relief services, the Denham Town and Vineyard Town Golden Age homes, and provide social housing and poor relief services in communities. The upgrading and optimal operation of the island's infirmaries will continue with a $905.26 million budget. And $92.8 million will fund initiatives for the protection and care of the homeless, including $29.85 million for the construction of a drop-in center. Meanwhile, local authorities or municipal corporations, through which the ministry carries out many of its core functions within communities, will be receiving $2.82 billion in operational support. And the Social Development Commission will continue its community and social services with $1.22 billion at its disposal. Rural development is another major priority for the ministry.
We will use this program to give new life to rural communities over the next 2 years.
The newly established Rural Electrification and Housing Wiring Branch expects to spend $316.47 million getting more Jamaicans connected to the national grid. Rural communities will also benefit from $264.77 million set aside to continue the rainwater harvesting in schools project and the rehabilitation of catchment tanks island-wide, along with the provision of water supply systems. The Rural Water Supply Limited is also receiving $251.86 million to continue its work. And to ensure easier connectivity within and to rural communities, $176.5 million will provide emergency repairs to parochial roads on a priority basis.
The Ministry of Local Government is responding in real time.